Hi, I'm Mari Dangerfield, and I've got quite a few things to update you guys with today. Firstly, the vintage stylophone tune mystery has been solved. Yes, thanks so much to Dangerfield at Stylophony, who worked out that the mystery stylophone numerical score in the box of my vintage stylophone was Amazing Grace. Secondly, I've put a couple of signed virtually cover posters up on my website. If you want one, I would grab one because there may not be more, and I'll leave the link in the description. Oh, and just a couple more things. While I was editing this video, the lovely Gustavo, one of the virtually competition winners, received his prizes, and he sent me a lovely message back with lovely little drawings. I just wanted to show you guys. Thank you, Gustavo. I'm so glad that you loved your prizes. Naomi, if you've had your prizes arrive anytime, I'd love to hear about it, and hopefully I look forward to making a video with one or both of you guys in the very near future. And the other thing I forgot to mention is that there's a brand new stylophone orchestra starting up, and it's going to be taking place at Kingston University at the Kingston Hill campus at Visconti Studio. So if you're interested in joining, I would follow the brand new Instagram account StyloOrc to find out more. And now for the main bit of today's video, which I feel like I've been waiting such a long time to share with you guys. Today I am going to be showing you guys just how I created the multi-tracked stylophone sound. Yes, it looks simple, it's kind of simple, kind of complicated. Wait and see. And along the way I'm going to be exploring whether, in the least arrogant way possible, I may or may not have invented a whole new music genre. Have I invented a whole new music genre? And how do I make the stylophone sound many of you are familiar with? In this video, I'm going to make an alarming proposition. Could it be that in the process of creating the multi-tracked stylophone sound, I have also invented a new genre of music? I'm also going to show you how I've created this sound. So to begin with, what is genre? Genre is a category of, in this case, music, characterised by a particular style, form, or content. Firstly, the content of the genre we are arguing in favour of at the moment is stylophone, and only stylophone. We could also argue that the style is distinctive, because in using the stylophone exclusively, we're likely to get the same sort of sound over and over each time we use it. And in terms of procedure, well, there's definitely something very specific to that. In the earliest beginnings of the sound world that I was creating, I was working with a very specific set of building blocks, a way to almost solve a problem, if you like. The problem being that playing the stylophone like a piano, with many sequences of fast notes as it was not possible, and I needed to find a way to make it possible. Here's how I did that. Starting with the ordinary notated piano score and knowledge of the stylophone's limited register, I created a new notated score with individual notes for each stylophone part, usually amounting to around 8 different staves, each with mostly adjacent notes or notes recurring on the same beat to facilitate performance. The next stage involves recording each part, often by section and sometimes even by individual note, with a mic externally. In the very beginning stages, and still, especially with the vintage stylophone, I do this, as it adds a unique ambience to the recording that you wouldn't get with an internally recorded sound. Stage 3 involves thoroughly checking the recording for mistakes, rigorous flex editing, and another cool characteristic feature, pitch shifting, when notes are too low or high. In some ways, this also adds a unique edge to the sound. If we argue that most of the music I was creating at that early stage was neoclassical stylophonized piano music, then we could also argue that form could be a distinctive part of our definition of genre, since most of the kind of piano music we're talking about would be multi-layered and involve many complex harmonic and melodic shifts which we already associate with a specific genre. Besides, with my personality type, the propensity and desire to innovate is much greater. However, I could be making the overstatement of the 21st century and there are indeed ways in which any of these points could be questioned.
Firstly, if we look back at the definition of genre requiring a characterized style or content, well, as soon as we change procedure to internal recording or start using the stylophone S2 or Gen X1 or any other model, the sound and content can change. And if we begin to use the stylophone to record music that doesn't have multiple layers or recognized melodic or harmonic shifts, the form is also called into question. Secondly, isn't the term genre associated with music that has both a wide participatory level and a broad level of interest and awareness among human beings?
Multitrack stylophone is not currently widely created, listened to or recognised, and who knows, this could change, but will it ever be as big as classical, jazz or rock music, and enough to be called a genre? And genre or not, have I really invented it?
Well, the only instances of multitrack stylophone of the past included multiple participatory play and not recording as such. But just how innovative is my procedure? Arguably, not at all. You could argue that the procedure I described is simply a combination of notating, recording, sampling and editing music, which is already widely practiced and has been at least since the Pet Sounds album by the Beach Boys. A particularly detailed, innovative sampler is producer Andrew Huang, taking samples of anything from water to Canadian objects for creating full, detailed tracks using almost exactly the procedure I described. So, did I just copy Andrew Huang? Well, maybe not, but I do acknowledge him as a great influence on my choices.
Speaking of influence, going back to when I was describing the kind of music that I was using to develop the multitrack stylophone sound, any of you who've watched my channel for long enough will have heard at least some of my Jan Tiersen stylophone covers, the very first of which was Ports Gorée.
Arguably, it was through attempting to transform Ports Gorée into a piece of music that flowed on the stylophone that I learnt to adapt the stylophone to the most complex of musical situations, or perhaps just recognised its potential to already do so, and in doing that, was the first? But what about my initial intentions for developing the sound or for using the stylophone? Well, around the same time that I entered the competition for which I created the Ports Gorée cover, there was a slightly different reason I had acquired and was attempting to use the stylophone. Virtually, by that point I had realised, was a song involving computers, the online world, and although perhaps by definition I didn't know it at the time, there was definitely already a style of music out there that used actual PSG sound chips in vintage arcade machines, computers and video game consoles to create music that sounded virtual and computerish. As someone vaguely aware but still cautious of most electronic music at the time, I assumed it was electronic music and that it simply involved a synthesizer. What it actually was chiptune. But perhaps my ignorance turned out to be a blessing, because if I had been totally familiar with it, I might have gone with that instead because it would have worked. And in the process, I could have missed out on discovering this new sound that I've created.
Except no, because of my personality type. Remember? So have I or have I not invented a new genre of music called multitracked stylophone? Well, I think I'd be extremely arrogant to claim something so bold as that, but it might be that I've stumbled upon or even expanded on a very rich history of sampling, musical creation, use of the stylophone and keyboard subversion, with my own simple little contribution that may or may not continue to grow in awareness, variety, use and popularity. Either way, I'm very happy to have it and call it mine. But how about you guys? Do you think that I've invented a new music genre? Why or why not? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks so much for watching and bye for now.